Adrian Broner and Jamal Charlo. And Jamel.
Let the boys know.
The CEO of our league.
Now listen. Now look.
You a hater.
Now look.
You gonna get mad at that.
Fuck everybody that's recording right now. I seen all y'all bad blogs. I seen everything.
We don't know what's just happening in the heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder fucked some shit up.
Look, my pockets got the heavyweight division.
I just ate tonight too.
Huh? We always eat. Listen, what I'm saying is this. From Southwest, Delta, Frontier, United. I ain't fucking with United. They beat motherfuckers up. What I'm saying is this. I love Showtime. Without Showtime, it ain't no time. Thanks to my man back there.
In February, it's go time. The hell with HBO. They ain't need no buzz.
Hey, I will be back in the ring soon. No, on a serious note, I will be back in the ring soon. I'm sorry to all my fans.
Yeah.
I put up some crazy performance. I still fight like a champ, but
You still the shit.
fuck all y'all. Y'all still gonna watch me.
Okay.
Joshua was looking at this and says, yeah, I want to fight that guy.
Well, I knew I was gonna knock Stiverne out, you know. I kept saying, when you fight a guy the first time, it's a learning experience. The second time is a learning experience as well, but the difference is you already know that person a little bit more than the second time than the first time. And I knew everything about Stiverne. We had 9 different guys come in. I had 9 different great looks, you know. Some would say my sparring partner was even tougher, but you know, the only thing that was different between the sparring partner and this is that I think I went more rounds in sparring this time.
On Saturday night at Barclays Center in Brooklyn in front of 10,924 fans, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder, scored a sensational knockout in a rematch against Broner Stiverne. Let's be real. What happened Saturday in the Deontay Wilder versus Broner Stiverne fight was exactly what was supposed to happen. I got people on YouTube and Twitter telling me, I told you so, I told you so. Like picking Wilder was some type of bold prediction or something. What was Stiverne, like a plus 2,000 underdog? I mean, when Las Vegas sets those lines, especially lines with that large of a odds going on, part of it comes from inside information that comes to the Vegas odds makers. Come from it's insider information. So somebody in both fighters' camps or close to the camp or what have you will pretty much give the nitty-gritty on what's going on, and you pretty much set the line. You may know about injuries, or in football, guys not playing or having problems at home that might influence them on the field. It's just a lot of factors. So excuse me. As you know, the great heavyweights did their running early in the morning. Most fighters back in the day did more running at 6 o'clock a.m. than most people do an entire month. So obviously we know Broner Stiverne doesn't train like he should. We said that in one of the previous videos. He couldn't call a boxing show early in the morning because his team said he probably wouldn't be up that early. So we don't need an insider to tell us that he doesn't train the way he should. And in the first time these guys fought, Deontay Wilder was 219 pounds at the time of the weigh-in. And in the second fight, Deontay was 220 pounds at the weigh-in. So there's only 1 pound difference. On the other hand, in the first fight, Berman weighed in at 239 pounds. For the rematch, Stiverne weighed in at a robust 255 pounds, or 254 3/4 to be exact. Listen, folks, you don't need an insider. You don't need insider info to understand that. So when Vegas listed him as that big of a dog in this fight, you already knew what time it was. My man Jeffrey Freeman said it best. Stiverne was like Ali McCall against Lennox Lewis without the crying. Stiverne was a disinterested boxer who quit in a total non-effort. That's what it is. I mean, let's not make more of this fight than what it is. If you take a look at Stiverne's career, you tell me who his best opponent was prior to Deontay Wilder. And so you look, and the answer is Cristobal Areola. So that's what that's the end result. Let's just not make it more than what it was. You had a guy who came to lay down and collect a paycheck, and in this case, a second paycheck. The first paycheck was alleged step-aside money, which this fight was always going to happen, and the Ortiz fight wasn't going to happen. There are a few reasons why. I'm not going to get into it here, but Stiverne knew what time it was. He knew what the deal was. And so that step-aside money, in essence, was a bribe to just play a little ball. And then he got the second half of that alleged step-aside money on Saturday night. So he came to lay down. Wilder, on the other hand, he's regressed since the first Stiverne fight. Let's not pretend he didn't struggle with Gerald Washington, with Artur Spilka, with Eric Molina since the first fight with Stiverne. He struggled with all of those guys. He was down on the card to two of those guys. He was hurt by a couple guys. Now, mixed in between that were good wins against Johan Duhaupas, who Wilder just battered all night long, and also, you guessed it, Cristobal Areola. So let's not crown Deontay Wilder undisputed just yet, or let's not even crown him the most feared heavyweight in the world, as he says, and as Lou DiBella keeps talking about, which is really irking me. Where do I go? So I mean, come on. Most feared. Look, and just like with Joshua, let's not crown him undisputed either. He didn't exactly set the world on fire in his last one. And to be honest, he only has a slightly better resume than Wilder. You gotta like the fact that AJ fought Klitschko. He fought Dillian White and even Dominique Brazil. You have to like that. But the fact is, Vladimir Klitschko was 41 years old. He was coming off of a defeat, and he hadn't fought in like a year and a half, like 17 months. So when you look at Wilder, when you look at Joshua, the thing I like the fact that there are flaws in both of these guys, and there are flaws in all the guys, really. Most of the heavyweights. I mean, if you look at Ortiz, who's probably closer to 50 than he is 40, the thing is age. You look at Ortiz again, it's inactivity, or Ortez. You look at Bryant Jennings, who I like to see get in the mix, and it's size. You look at Amir Mansour, it's size, it's age, he hasn't been the most active either. So there's just something with all of these guys, and that's why you need to put them in the ring with each other, because you just don't know what's going to happen. But you do realize something is going to happen because of these flaws. Who can get to who first and get them out of there? That's the question. So we'll see. Anyone notice the love fest between Wilder and Stiverne's corner after the fight? What was up with that? I mean, kisses exchanged and soft taps on the face, and hugs, and I'm like, come on, man. I mean, we already knew this was an inside agreement here. Nice little deal that you guys had, but man, I mean, do that behind closed doors. I mean, do it. So, and I don't want to hear, oh, that's just respect. Nah, man, come on. During the post-fight interview, Deontay Wilder hinted at the fact that AJ is juicing. Just listen closely when he's talking to Jim Gray. And listen, I don't know if Joshua is juicing or not. I don't know if Wilder is juicing or not. What I will say in terms of a potential match between the two guys is that Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, is too muscular right now, and I think Wilder's athleticism gives him a shot in that respect. So we're still not sure if AJ is more Frank Bruno or more Lennox Lewis at this point. In the pros, I mean, not amateur. So we just don't know. Another factor to think about when we talk about heavyweight matchups. When you compare the two fights between Deontay and Berman, Deontay threw the jab in this second fight. He threw the jab with much more authority in the rematch. Much more authority. He also fought big, which is what you like for a guy with a $9 million inch reach advantage or whatever it was. He's got like an 84-inch reach. That's Sonny Liston territory. 83-inch reach. I don't know exactly the number. I know it's in the 80s, which is crazy. But you like it. You like the way he fought, even though there was a business decision in the ring that night. Still. And Deontay Wilder was right about his athleticism. That's going to give most people a problem, including Anthony Joshua. And that's, in my opinion, it's not just Wilder's height. It's not just the reach. The athleticism is what you have to look at. So, what happens next? Well, as with the fight before this and the fight prior to that, I'm not sold on the fact that it's going to be Anthony Joshua for Deontay Wilder. Let's just say this. There's some shenanigans going on in the heavyweight division with bogus injuries, with the drug testing, and with the deals being made behind the scenes. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to get into it now, but there's just a lot more going on. I don't like any of it, but this is boxing, Max. It's boxing. There's so many ways that this can go for Deontay Wilder next. My guess is that in early to mid 2018, Deontay Wilder is going to fight Dominic Breazeale. Now, I'm not sure if you recall, but after Deontay Wilder beat Gerald Washington and Dominic Breazeale beat Ugano, there was an altercation in the hotel. Now, excuse me. They'll play this angle up WWE style to pump the fight up, but Deontay's pretty much said a fight with Dominic Breazeale is personal and that he'd kill Breazeale if they ever met because Breazeale, quote, went after my brother. Now, a little background. So Breazeale and Deontay's brother got into, I guess, an argument, a little altercation at the hotel. And then Deontay came after Breazeale, talking smack, and he pushed Dominic real hard. And when he got back into Dominic's face, Dominic said, "Hold on, my wife and kids are here. Chill out. I'm not trying to get into anything violent." To which Deontay replied, "F your kids." Quote. You know what the letter F means, so. So, Dominic eventually sued Deontay Wilder. I don't know if people know this. He actually filed a lawsuit based on the attack on him and I guess his crew. Maybe somebody got hurt, I don't know. His kids and his wife and were traumatized and et cetera, et cetera. I don't have the lawsuit in front of me, but look for, they're going to play this up. And if they do, if and when they do, there's only one drawback to all of this, you know. If it does happen, and if they do play the incident up WWE style, then that brings a little bit of value to Mauro Ranallo, because that WWE storyline crap is right up his alley. And I tell you, that guy is the voice of Showtime boxing. Give me a break. as far as the knockout, you guys ever see a band like at a football game when they first come onto the field and you have the drum major and he kind of does his routine and then leans all the way back to like touch the crown of his headgear to the ground, and when he does it his knees just kind of bend all the way back. Well, if you check out the picture on the screen that should be showing right now, you'll see that that's what Stiverne looked like, a freaking drum major. I mean, come on, dude. Let's talk about the co-feature. We predicted Shawn Porter would headbutt Adrian Granados sometime during the fight and cause a cut. Well, there wasn't too bad of a cut. He got marked up. But I tell you what, that head of Shawn Porter's is a legitimate weapon. All three judges scored that fight 17-11. And let me ask you something. Is Shawn Porter in your top 10 of the most awkward boxers you've ever seen? Or maybe I should use the word uncoordinated. I mean, this dude. Man, I saw some football out there on Saturday night. I mean, Shawn Porter's still out there playing free safety. And so, that guy, I tell you, man. There are fans out there who think that they think Adrian Granados won the fight. Granados seems to think he won also. From my vantage point, watching it live, it seems like Porter won the fight by landing, I'm going to say, more of the telling blows, more of the power shots, including a big one in the fifth round. Fifth round was funny. If I meant to play it on TV too. You could hear Adrian Granados' mother yell something at him in Spanish, and Adrian kind of pointed and yelled back saying, "All right, Mom," and then ate like a big right hand from Porter right as he responded to his mom. It's funny. It's funny. You got to check it out if you didn't see it. The fight was rough and sloppy as predicted, but also had good action. As we noted it would. And you can't expect anything else from Shawn Porter. I mean, the rambling wreck. It's never going to be as pleasing to the eye as... Oh boy, I tell you. Now, let me go back a couple years ago. Watching the fight live, I and about 8,000 other fans live now thought that Porter beat Thurman. A lot of times what you see live, when you go back and watch on television, you see something different. So that was one of those fights that what most people saw live, they thought that Porter beat Thurman. But just like Wilder, I have to say Shawn Porter has regressed a bit since facing Keith Thurman. The Berto fight was okay, but this is a faded Andre Berto. However, Shawn ate way too many shots from Granados, and he gets hit with those punches versus Thurman, then he'll get dropped. Not saying he'll get stopped necessarily, but he'll be in trouble. Ironically, I did see some good defensive. I saw good defense in stretches from Sean. He got low at times. He moved his head when he was low, and he used his legs. So he expended a lot of energy. He was tired late in the fight. In the 11th, certainly, and in the 12th for sure. So, I'd like to see him just keep on working on things defensively and trying to do it in a way where he's not expending so much energy, because he uses so much energy offensively. So, it'll be interesting. While I thought, listen, boxing before, back in the day, and listen, I'm just a back in the day guy. If you had a fight like Thurman versus Porter and it ended that way, you know who your next fight was going to be? That same guy. And they delayed it, and then we had, first of all, it got delayed 3-4 times before it ever happened, and that was Thurman with the fake car situation and micro tears in his neck and arm and all that other stuff. I'm like, come on, dude. And then there's this other injury, and so I have my theory about that. I've kind of hinted at it in other videos. I'm not going to say it here, but I think I know what time it is with Thurman. I'll just leave it at that. In the televised opener, Sergey Lipinets won by scores of 117-111 twice, and, you ready for this, 118-110. Yes, that 118-110 score again over Akihiro Kondo. Look, folks, the fight was much closer, and to be honest, the fight could have gone either way. It was a fast-paced fight, good punching, good body work. It was a decent scrap. I mean, these guys were letting punches go the way that guys who are attempting to win a title should let punches go. That uppercut that Lipinets caught Kondo with in the third round on the nose. See, shots like that are often worse than the uppercuts that land directly on the chin. If you watch the third round, just watch how he landed on his nose. Depending on what type of nose you have, and I guess Kondo had the right kind of nose. That's the kind of shot, that's how you get your nose broken or busted up to the point where it can't stop bleeding. From where I was sitting, it looked like Kondo could have won the fight. However, Lipinets is he is a premier boxing guy, so you know how that goes. And I'll add that there were a few distractions where in a few rounds, I didn't see all of the rounds for a few rounds in this fight. So I only scored what I saw, in other words, without watching a replay. So, but what I saw, I thought that Kondo took over in the middle rounds by just moving forward and just staying on the attack. We're not used to seeing Lipinets backpedal like that. So if you base it on a fact like that, like who's making who fight their style. So close fight, certainly not 118-110 or 117-111. The crowd booed. They let you know who they thought won live, kind of just like the Thurman and Porter thing. They thought the loser, the official loser, was the winner. So off TV, the aforementioned Dominic Breazeale won by stoppage over Eric Molina, which sets up that Wilder fight I mentioned. In that fight, wasn't too much action early on. These are big guys who aren't in the best shape, so I don't know if they were saving up whatever was in the gas tank early in case it became a distance fight. But Dominic Breazeale won by stoppage over Eric Molina, and after a few of the early rounds, his jab started heating up a little bit. But in the 7th round, Molina had Breazeale hurt badly, but he couldn't follow it up with anything of note. So he let Breazeale out of the 7th round, and consequently, a round later, Dominic caught Eric with a big right hand. Molina took a knee. Eventually, the corner stopped the fight instead of sending Molina out for more damage. So it was the right call. Good call. Also on the undercard, one of my favorite fighters won. One of my favorite fighters. He's only 4-0. But Dylan, the real deal Price, out of Jersey, South Jersey, won by technical knockout. Shout out to the real deal. That's DYL, the real deal Price. Dylan's a bantamweight, and he's going to be on the Superfly 5 card in a couple years. Believe that. When it happens, you remember where you heard it first, because he'll be a super flyweight, and I think he's going to be one of the better ones, and he'll be on that Superfly 5 card or 4 card or whatever it's going to be back then. I mean, whatever it's going to be at that time. All right, that's about it. Next Saturday, we got Artur Beterbiev on ESPN, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We got Liam Smith versus Liam Williams, the rematch on Box Nation and BT Sport. And a fight I'll be at, we got Daniel Jacobs versus Louis Arias on HBO. So that's going to be in Long Island, New York. I'll be there to check that out. So make sure you keep those fights in mind. Lastly, I got some t-shirts from the Wilder versus Stiverne. They should be showing on the screen now. The front picture followed by the back picture should be showing. And I have 2XL shirts, so that's extra large. I have 2 of those, not 2XL like double X, but so 2 shirts. Both of them are extra large, and then I have one that's a large. None of my listeners that care about any of the shirts I've given away in the past, nobody seems to care about being a big boy. Where are my double X and triple X guys out there, man? So, because I used to always get 3X, 2X, and then think, okay, nobody's an extra large, and it's the opposite. So, go to thefightjournal.com. Select at the top where it says About, and email me at the address provided. First 3 people get the t-shirts. So yeah. So I never know, never know what size to get. And if you already know the email address, then you don't have to go through all that. Just people have emailed me before. So first 3 get the shirts. We'll catch you on the next one.